Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am playing with some Brutus Monroe products. I am using this Flowered Heart, which is the November die of the month. I've also pulled out a couple glazes and pastes, so let's see what I can do. Now, even though this video should be all about the die of the month, I decided to pull out the glazes and have a good fun time with them. So I'm using some Velveteen Glaze. I'm also using some glitter glaze, which is my absolute favorite. You guys know how much I love the Shining Shimmering Splendid. And then I also am using some sand paste. Now, every single one of these colors are a shade of purple. I adore the color purple, and I think there really ought to be more purple in scrapbooking, so, you know, it's kind of like my personal mission to make that happen, and that is what I'm doing right now. So I am using a metal palette knife. Now, you can pick this up in the Brutus Monroe shop, and I am also not waiting for anything to dry before I put down the mediums. So if it overlaps a little bit, that is even better. I don't really want there to be clearly defined stripes. Obviously these look like stripes, but if they go over top of each other, that just makes me happy. So now that everything is dry and it's got that great texture to it, I am going to get to the decorating. Now, I did run the die of the month multiple times through my die cut machine. I do use an electronic die cut machine. I find that it is much easier than hand cranking that bad boy. I ran it through a bunch of different shades of purple and white cardstock, and then I also ran it through a little bit of purple glitter stock that I still had on hand. Oh, and some gray. I did some gray as well because I used the silvery glitter glaze, and I just felt like that was a good one. So these florals do die cut out in the shape of a heart, but I'm just using them as a floral and making a really cool mat with it. So I am ripping apart my die cuts, and some of you might be going, oh, but don't worry, it's fine. It turns out great in the end. So I am overlapping some of the bits, and that is fine with me. I love the way that these die cuts look overlapped. I think that it adds fun texture, and it's just a lot of fun. Now, this is a photo of myself wearing my vintage 1980 original Parch shirt that I received for my birthday this year. And I totally took the purple out of the photo to make this layout. Usually I just go, you know, with whatever I'm feeling, but this time it was a conscious effort to bring purple into the scrapbooking and use that color that is on my shirt. Now, I am using the black glue from Brutus Monroe. Right now, there's no purpose for me using the black glue. I'm not using anything with black die cuts, but it was in front of me, and it's a good liquid glue, so it is going to hold. Now, I always use a liquid glue when I am gluing on top of glitter glaze or glitter stock or any of the Velveteen Glazes or anything like that, because like I said, they have a little bit of a texture to them, so a liquid glue really bonds the paper to that textured surface much better than like a tape runner or an ATG or something like that. Now, I am going to overlap the littler flower die cuts as well, and I want to pop them up. I want a little bit of lift on my page. I definitely have a ton of texture already with all of the glazes in the background and the overlapping die cuts with all the different colors, but I wanted a little lift. I wanted something to be popped up ever so slightly. So I'm going to use some foam squares to pop these bad boys up, and I just kind of felt like when I was overlapping the florals together that they just were a jumbly mess. They didn't look as cool as the florals that I die cut it and used as a photo mat. So I just punch out a white cardstock circle, and then I kind of use that to cover up that jumbly mess so you don't see all the flowers where they overlap and connect together. And I love how that turns out. Plus it's mimicking the white border that I put around the photo, so it all is working out great. So now I have the rest of these florals that I die cut out, and I thought, should I build more, or should I go ahead and have them kind of hanging off the page? While I'm deciding that, I pull out some gray foam letter stickers from my stash, and I just spell out the word 40 because that is what I turned this year. Now I am going to do an ever so slight amount of journaling on this layout. Velveteen glazes are gorgeous to write on top of. They're really easy to write on top of. Not like a glitter glaze. Can't really write on top of a glitter glaze too easily, but the Velveteen glazes work great. So now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to make happen with the florals. I'm like, do I want to add more? Do I want to pop another one up? How do I want to handle this? Now I do get my sticker maker because I find it really easy to do these very thin die cuts. It is super easy to run it through a sticker maker, or if you have something like those die cut sticky dot sheet type things, really easy. You don't have to worry about your wet glue squeezing out or anything like that. So I do go ahead and make sure that they are hanging off the page. So I don't want the page to just look like, boom, here's the center and it's contained. I want your eye to think that there's more off the page. And one way to do that is to hang over the die cuts like this and trim them down. Now I am choosing where I want them to be based on where my glitter glaze and such things like that are on the layout. So I'm just kind of nestling them in. So not that they're really overlapping, but they're just kind of tucked in there. You know, they're close. They're not overlapping, but they're nestled in there and they're tucked in. Now you can see when I flip my layout over, I do have some warping. There is moisture in these products, guys, and it does warp some of the cardstocks. I'm just using a regular old plain white cardstock, nothing special about it, so it does warp a little bit more. I'm not really worried about the warping from this because my layouts go into albums at the end of every month, and the weight of the albums kind of flattens that paper down. You don't really have to worry about it warping. It's just going to flatten out naturally. So there I am, just writing a few lines of journaling, and that is going to do it for this layout, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. You can check out the die of the month and the other products I used in the links down below, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.